Well, another key UN report says that spending on adaptations to help poorer countries cope with the impacts of climate change is massively off target. In 2022, the most recent year that we have figures for, the spending was $28 billion, but experts say it should be between $190 and $360 billion a year. Let's go live to Baku, where we can speak to Patrick Verkooijen, Chief Executive of the Global Centre on Adaptation. Thank you very much for being with us. Just first of all, in an overall sense, how much does the election of Donald Trump affect the whole climate change agenda and what people like you are trying to achieve?
Well, Gita, as you see behind me, it's dark now in Baku, and that's exactly the sort of the mood on the ground here in Azerbaijan. There's a massive decision to be made. Is Baku, the climate negotiation in the next 2 weeks, is it business as usual, where empty and hollow promises are being made, or like the Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea said, a complete waste of time? Or is it the beginning of the new imagination, the reimagination of the Paris Agreement, where it's not just pollution control, but it's exactly a pact about prosperity? And that, Gita, means that adaptation, building resilience in our economy is basically has to come front and center. We have been waiting for this for way too long. Now, with the Trump administration, time is now up and in the essence. Because don't forget, Gita, there were 2 massive hurricanes in Florida, the massive wildfires in California. The United States is also facing the brunt of the climate impact. So there is an economic argument to be made here that this is not just about swing states or red states. It is about resilient states and safe states so that poor communities can also keep their kids at school even during a heat wave. So I think lots to play in Baku. I think it's up in the air now where we will end up in two weeks from now. It's all to play for. But if we don't frame this agenda as an economic bottom-up transformation agenda, then I would say the Paris Agreement is dead as it is today.
And can I just let you know a newsline that we've had on the final component of the Paris Agreement, with COP apparently agreeing the final pillar, which regards carbon markets and has been under negotiation for almost 10 years. It establishes a mechanism for richer nations to purchase emissions, reducing projects in poorer countries to offset their greenhouse gases and achieve their national climate plans. Can you just explain a bit what that means?
So the bottom line is super simple, right? We need to reduce our carbon footprint. And in fact, we're not, because this year we emitted more than ever before. So we're way off track. So to reduce our carbon footprint, we can do several things. One, should we not basically eliminate harmful fossil fuels subsidies, $1.3 trillion a year, basically enriching the rich people and not the poor people? Should we not put a price on carbon? In fact, we are doing this, but the price is way too low. So we should use all these levers which we have. But Gita, the bottom line is this. We're failing on reducing our carbon footprint. Think about it, we're in a race car where we basically have no brake. We need so buckle up, fast belt, and at the rails around us, because we need that sort of defense of our economies, whether it's in energy, whether it's in infrastructure, whether it's in agriculture. We now have all to play for. And the beauty of things is, it's not charity, it's about economic investment, because a dollar, euro, pound invested in climate adaptation and resilience building, in fact, has a much higher return. So let's get on with it.
Just very briefly, some have said that the way technology has progressed, the fact that in the US, states and individual companies and citizens, of course, are still free to make decisions to fight climate change, means that actually, even if the Trump administration does go in a very different direction to what we've seen from the Biden administration, the fight on climate change will progress. I mean, do you agree with that? Or do you think if Trump does change direction, it will have a really significant effect?
Well, I'm very determined that the fight will also continue in the United States. Take Miami. Miami is basically Republican, has a progressive Republican mayor. I mean, he, upon his elections in 2017, made climate action center to his agenda. Why? Because the financial district in 2017 was under a hurricane sort of impact. So it makes economic sense, whether it's in Florida, in California, or in the Midwest, to basically invest in the economies of tomorrow. Donald Trump is a businessman. He understands the economic argument, and the economic argument for adaptation is really strong. I think that should be the reach out to the Trump administration. Let's build resilience across the globe.
Patrick Verkooijen, Chief Executive of the Global Centre on Adaptation, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you very much.